So guys, this is my review of episode 9 of the Case Study of Vanitas, and with that guys, let's jump right into this review of episode 9. Let's get it. So we pick up right where we left off at last week's episode 8, where, basically Vanitas is trapped behind the cell here. Noé's off on the side, down and out because he got hit with the flash from Roland's little flash attack that blinded him basically. And basically what ends up happening is that Roland is like he of course is going to try to kill Noé, but he is also looking to try to save Vanitas here. He basically feels like Vanitas was being coerced. He felt like Vanitas was a hostage, like he was with Noé as a hostage, and he felt like he just wants to save him. But Vanitas, basically his response was basically like dude, like I'm doing this on my own free will, right? Which I'm actually going to mention this conversation a little bit later in this video. But he, Vanitas tells him like, look, I came here with Noé on my own. Like I'm not being controlled or anything, blah blah blah. So but Roland, he's up here trying to be preachy to him, like, look, God's gonna forgive you for going against his will, blah blah blah. I got you, I'm gonna protect you. But again, and that's the thing, like Vanitas scratches Roland's face. He's like, dude, like, get off me, like I'm doing this on my own. And then that's when we get into Roland versus Noé. Fight basically begins. Noé's trying to really get his vision back, and it sort of has come back a little bit, but just as it's coming back, that's when Roland takes off the covering of his weapon, and as you see here, it looks like a really, really cool weapon. And he even says, he speaks to the weapon. He calls it Durando. He's like, let's go off and let's do our thing here, and let's get into battle mode here. But it was just a really cool spot here where once he releases the covering from it, that we get this spot here with him holding it just before going into attack mode. And the weapon itself does a couple of extra things that I want to talk about here in my review of episode 9. One of the things I forgot to mention is the title of the episode is called Those Who Hunt Crimson. That's the title of the episode. But one of the other things that Roland's weapon does, it detaches. So technically it was like a staff weapon, as you see here, but again, he was able to detach it to be able to use two-handed, basically like a dual weapon. But another cool thing that it does that I found very interesting is this right here. And this is what it does right here. It elongates like a whip, and both parts of the weapon does this, and they slash out like a whip and basically whip their opponent to hurt them. And this actually reminded me of over on Bleach, Renji's his weapon when he screams out, roar Zabimaru, and it kind of reminded me of that. But this is what the weapon, this is the other thing that the weapon does per Roland's weapon here, and I just thought it was really, really cool to see here in episode 9. Eventually, Vanitas and Noé do indeed escape from fighting Roland, but while they are off trying to rest, and Noé's trying to recuperate and get his sight back, Vanitas starts having this conversation. Now they end up having a couple of conversations during this episode before we move forward, before we get to this scene and then after the scene. So one of the key things in one of the conversations was Vanitas says that he is looking for somebody specific. He's looking for a guy named Moro. Moro used to be a part of the Chasseurs until he got kicked out, basically. He was actually doing some very interesting and weird experiments on vampires. Obsessed with doing experiments on vampires, and Vanitas, again, he's saying like, I need to find more. I need to find this dude. Noé is one of the other things. It's a small minor thing during the episode. Noé is like talking about Vanitas's look, and the expression that he's giving, and it's funny because Vanitas says the same thing. It's like eventually they end up saying like you keep looking, you keep giving this specific weird facial expression, but it was more pertaining to Vanitas than it is Noé when it's pertaining to their facial expressions. But again, because they're down here, Noé recognizes that facial expression, and it's one of just like, that Vanitas seems very distracted because he's down here. And again, Vanitas does mention this to Noé, that I need to find Moro. And during this specific scene here, Moro talks about, he says because he's looking at them through a hidden like telescope type of thing, where he can see everything, like those pipes there. He can look and see any and every area of this underground place. And he says, that guy looks familiar, and then he says it like he has to be Vanitas. It has to be him. He has to be my favorite test subject and all of that. And I'm just sitting by like, damn, like your boy was doing experiments on Vanitas. He wasn't even a vampire, type of thing. But it's just weird to me. But at least we see what Moro looks like. But then we're gonna get a actual visual of what he looks like towards the end of the episode as well. And one of the things I wanted to talk about too is they have another conversation, and that is about the book. Vanitas is able to actually change the formula within the machines that the chasseurs use, and he's able to make them kind of like go in a berserk type of, well, not like a berserk, but like an uncontrollable way, because they were able to just like basically like attack some of the chasseurs and knock them out and stuff like that. So Vanitas is able to use the book for that. But the other conversation that they have is where the one girl that is like real close to Roland, they knock her out, and Vanitas is suggesting to use her as a hostage, and Noé is very against that. Now, while they're talking about this, they end up going into an argument about this, and Vanitas is saying like, you vampires are, you all keep falling for, you keep living and believing this idealistic thing that just doesn't work for you, where like Noé, he wants to like have a civil conversation with people, versus Vanitas, where he's like, look, if I feel like somebody's dangerous or something like that, I'm just gonna just take them out. While Noé's like, look, I just want to just have a conversation with them, because I feel like words, a civil conversation would be so much better than fighting. And Vanitas is like, if I have to fight, I have to fight. So they're going back and forth about this, and then eventually Noé just like he just like gives in. He's like, you're right. But with that happening, something specific occurs once they run back into Roland and his crew. And that specific thing is that Noé is using Vanitas as a hostage instead of one of Roland's people, and Roland and one of his people are standing in front of them, but like at the other end of the room. But they're having a conversation about this, and Vanitas definitely feels threatened here. Actually, it's really, really funny, because Noé is seemingly acting like he's being threatening and talking about he's gonna kill Vanitas if they take a step wrong or try to attack and stuff like that. And Roland and them are just like real fearful, because they don't know whether or not Noé's believable or not. And Vanitas is like really just like Roland, you need to save me. He's really not bluffing about wanting to hurt me. And then once they do indeed, because Noé throws Vanitas in the air and Roland goes after him, he's able to basically hit both of them to knock Roland down hard, and then that's when things start to go in a direction that works out for everybody. And that basically is that they're able to have a civil conversation. Now, Vanitas was telling Noé earlier in the episode, like Roland he's not the type to have a sit down civil conversation with. He will definitely try to kill you and hurt you and harm you. He's different than the others and stuff like that. He's very dangerous. But once Noé knocks them both down and he grabs Roland by the arms, he's just like, look, like, this is what's going on. I apologize and blah blah blah. You know, we did indeed come here for a specific reason. You know, Vanitas was with me. I wasn't holding him hostage or anything. You know, it was just a great scene, guys, just because Roland definitely did like really just be like, you know, hey, I will actually listen to what you have to say. Now his people are talking behind him saying like, you know, this can't be right. You know, the vampire is dangerous. Don't listen to him. But Roland's like, look, I believe you. And Noé gets so excited, he's tearful. He's like, I can't believe it. He actually believed me. He actually listened to me. And Vanitas is real shocked about it as well. But you know, once they finally come to a civil understanding, that's when they decide to actually go and search for Moro, because Vanitas tells them about the vampires being tested on and all the scientific craziness that Moro does, and then they go underground and really search for Moro. And once they find his lair, his underground lair, they walk in. There's two other chasters standing behind Moro. We actually get a bigger, broader view of the lab itself. But this is what Moro looks like close up. And the thing is like Vanitas, when they come in, and like I believe if I remember correctly, Noé's the one that kind of looks at Vanitas kind of strange. He's like, and he asks, like, he calls out Vanitas' name, because Vanitas is looking kind of again like I talked about earlier in the video, like his facial expression. Moro calls out, he calls Vanitas by a number, because that's the thing. One of the buttons that one of the people were wearing, it had a number on it. That number was number 128. And again, Vanitas told Noé that they were, you know, these were specific numbers for specific people. Moro calls Vanitas by number 69. He even says it. My favorite test subject is back. Welcome home, welcome home. And then Vanitas literally is like excited to see Moro. He just says, Dr. Moro, with excitement and joy. And then that pretty much ends episode 9 of the Case Study of Vanitas. So I really did enjoy episode 9, guys. It was really, really fun. Really, really great conversations between Noé and Vanitas in episode 9 here. I really did enjoy this episode a lot, and the fight scene between Noé and Roland, that was dope too to me. But with that, guys, let me know your thoughts. What did y'all think of episode 9 when you first watched it today, or tomorrow, whatever? Leave some comments in the comment section below if you feel up to it. But other than that, I will talk to y'all next time with more the Case Study of Vanitas. Peace, guys.